Good evening, everybody. Welcome to 11th June, tip number 11 today. And today I've got another interesting tip for you. Thank you for joining me for the last, time all this while. And thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. And today, of course, is tip number 11. For the 11 days you've been with me, and I think you'll enjoy today's tip as well as I teach today's one. Yeah. Just let me get one thing sorted out in my phone, and then we can do that. Okay, tip number 11. Now, today's tip is called Let Go, Let God, our universe, and Rise Up. That's what it's called. Let Go, Let God, and Rise Up. Okay, so all of you, you do Ho'oponopono, you do Law of Attraction, and when you're doing that, you want, what do you want? You want wealth, you want material comfort, you want happiness, you want career advancement, you want a lot of good things in life. Okay, good health. Yeah. Okay, so fine. So what you do affirmation, you do vision board, you do Ho'oponopono, you do gratitude journal, you do all those things. Why do you do this? Because you want an abundance of health, wealth, happiness, and all those things. So you do it. But you must understand something. When you're doing all this, you are in a career path, or you're in a business path, or you're with a group of people, or you're in a life of your own at this point in time. Now you're asking the universe that I want this and I want that, I want that. I would like to have so much of money. I like to have so much. Like the other day, somebody sent me a message and said, I'm so happy and grateful that I have 10 million ringgit by end of this year. And I said, okay, how much do you make every month? And he says about maybe 10,000. I said, if you have only 10,000, a month, how do you make 10 million end of the year? Unless you have some plans to look into a business or whatever, or you're ready for it. Are you open enough? So that's why I say, let go, let God, then only you can rise up. So that is the topic for today. Sometimes when as you go on your goal and as you want to achieve your whatever you want in life, you don't realize you're in the wrong job, you're in the wrong business, you're with the wrong group of people. I think many of you would heard of this, that you say your average income is your income rather is the average of the 6 people you mix with. So if you mix with people who are who are not doing too well, your income will be about that. So sometimes now that you've come into Law of Attraction or Ho'oponopono, you want to come up in life, you want to have great things happening in your life, you need to sometimes move away from certain people, and not deliberately. I'm not saying that, stop mixing with these people, or go with. I'm not saying all that. I'm just saying that as you do Ho'oponopono, as you do Law of Attraction, you will discover things. Okay, and universe will show you. There are certain things you got to change in your life. Like this. Okay, hot air balloon. Okay, when a hot air balloon is going up, you see what, I don't know many of you know this or not. Hot air balloon, before it rises, they've got a lot of sandbags. They put it to keep it heavy. So as they unload the sandbag, the hot air balloon goes up. And if you want it to go higher and higher, they need to do two things. Either they put more gas to make the balloon, or they need to let go the weight. And that's what happened in the initial stages. So in life, if you want to come up in life, you want to achieve a lot of things, you need to also unload the baggage you're carrying. So the baggage could be anything that you're going through in life, and you need to let it go, because the moment you do Law of Attraction, the moment you do Ho'oponopono, the universe will start guiding you. This is the thing. The God or universe will start guiding you. The question is, are you able to see it? Are you able to see the signs, that God is? Now, if you are in my programs, and those of you are already in WhatsApp in contact with me, even if you're not in my program, you can always WhatsApp me and say, Mr. Karthi, this happened. What do you think? And should I, change this? Or what do I think? And maybe I will be able to interpret to you. Sometimes you don't realize it. But the universe will always start showing you signals, and I'm going to give you a lot of examples of people, even my own life, and as well as people who have come for my programs, and how life has changed. I mean, I've got hundreds and hundreds of testimonies, but I'm going to pick some and show you. But simple as this, yeah. So you're doing Ho'oponopono nowadays, and you're cleansing your karma, you're doing Law of Attraction, and you're very positive and whatever. And simple things like one day you're going out for an appointment, and suddenly you have a flat tire in front of the house. Yeah, you come out, and then there's a flat tire, and you're going to go for an appointment. The first thing that comes to your mind is, And then you start cursing la, stupid la, how could this happen la, blah 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 blah. But have you ever thought about it? Maybe the universe is telling you, don't go now. Maybe you'll meet an accident. Don't go for this appointment. Maybe this is not the right appointment. But you don't realize this, you see. But what you do is only scold. So this is where you must let go and let God, which means you need to know sometimes for to come up, you must. So if you believe in Ho'oponopono, if you believe in law of attraction, if you believe your vision board and your affirmation is going to work for you, then anything that happens around you, don't get upset. Don't get all worked up. Don't always, when something, oh my God, why is this happening to me? Listen, sometimes in order for cleansing to take place, there are other things that will happen to you, and you don't realize this. I always just give this example. If you've got a glass of water and there is sediments in the glass, okay, glass of water, clear glass of water, sediments or sand or something underneath, and Ho'oponopono or law of attraction is like you put a spoon inside and take out the dirt from the glass. As you take out the dirt from the glass, the whole glass of water become murky. But as you keep taking, after a while the water becomes clear again. So sometimes when you already set your goals, you've got affirmation, vision board, visualization, Ho'oponopono, gratitude, and you're doing it, sometimes things won't go right for you, and you think that it's not working, but actually it's working. But you need to read the signs behind it. Sometimes when you just walk out of the house, the telephone rings in the house, and you're like, oh my God, how come stupid people call me at this time? Don't they? For all you know, the call is actually to delay your trip. Even for the matter, I tell you, when you go out, you find your car got a flat tire. Isn't it better to have a flat tire in front of the house than have a flat tire in the middle of the highway? So sometimes you really need to understand, if you're going to do law of attraction, you need to let God guide you, let universe guide you. Let me give you some real example. I'll talk about other people first, then I'll talk about my own examples. I'm going to talk about this one young lady. I just call her Jenny. I don't want to tell you her real name. She followed my program, and she was doing law of attraction. She was with a boyfriend, and then the boyfriend was, they're not married, boyfriend girlfriend, and then she wanted to sleep with her. He wants to, he says, come on, we are together. Why not? And she said, no, I'm not from that kind of a family. No. So she decided to do Ho'oponopono for him, and also write an affirmation, about, I'm so happy and grateful that, my boyfriend respects me, blah, blah, blah. And what happened was that about a couple of months later, after she started doing Ho'oponopono and everything, she found him in a place where he was actually having an affair with somebody else. So she found out, she actually saw. And when she called him, he didn't see her. When he called, he said, don't disturb me, I'm in an office. But actually, she saw him in a hotel. So she was so upset. She called me up and said, oh, Mr. Kati, how could this happen in my life? I thought law of attraction is working for me. I thought Ho'oponopono is working for me. Why? See, this is where you need to understand. In fact, I told her this. I said, Jenny, listen, isn't it better for you to find out that your boyfriend is having an affair with someone now than on a later stage where you get married and then you realize he's actually not a good person? She said, oh my God, I see. So law of attraction actually goes. So let go, let God, so that you can rise up in life. I have another lady who came out, I think, last year during the MCO. She joined my program, and then she was talking to me, and then she said, Mr. Kati, I have this guy. She's single mom. And then this guy comes along. He says that he has already divorced his wife, so he's also single now. And let's go together. And so what happened was, so this lady was been writing affirmation. I'm so happy and grateful that I'm finally married, and and then she also started doing Ho'oponopono and everything. And then she realized that suddenly the guy was like not keeping in touch, not communicating, and then she was upset because she said all the while he was so friendly with her. He says, let's get married. After all, I'm divorced and you are single. Mom, why not we? And then he suddenly stopped communicating after she started doing law of attraction and affirmations and Ho'oponopono. The 14 exercises I normally teach in my programs. She was doing the 14 exercises. And then she got upset and all. Of course, she got upset with me. She said, oh, Mr. Kati, I thought, this is going to help me, blah, blah, blah. And then a couple of weeks later, she called me up. She said, Mr. Kati, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. You know why? I just found out that the guy is not divorced yet. And he's still married. And he lied to me that he was divorced. And I just found out because I went to his Facebook to check out and found out that he's still married and he's still with that lady. And she said, oh my God, I didn't know that. This is so powerful. So again, let go, let God, let the universe guide you. Then only you can come up. I'll talk about Kasturi. Kasturi, I think she's watching us. Kasturi is a really good friend and like a younger sister to me. And then what she did was she wanted her daughter to go to this particular convent. So she started writing affirmations. She said, Anna, I want my daughter to go to this convent. Anna, I want. But it was not coming through. For me, when it doesn't come through, I always think the universe is sending you a message. But people don't want to listen. They insist, I want my daughter to be in this convent kind of a thing. I said, listen, just continue with affirmation, continue with your Ho'oponopono, continue doing whatever you're doing. I'm sure the universe will show you the way. Then one day, she realized she got some news, and she found out that particular convent she wanted to send her daughter was not so good after all. And she actually found out there were a lot of things happening in the convent, and she really didn't want her daughter to go to school in that particular convent. And she was like, oh my God, And then anyway, that at the same time, she found another school near her house, and she decided to send the daughter. She sent the daughter to that school and realized in that school, the daughter is now one of the top performers. The daughter is now very highly popular. The daughter is now into so many programs, and all the teachers. Now, she's an Indian girl, right? But she says even the teachers, be it a Malay teacher, be it a Chinese teacher, the teachers love her daughter. And she says, Anna, I cannot thank you enough, for getting my daughter into the school. I said, no, I didn't do anything. I said, actually, you did Ho'oponopono, you did law of attraction, you did all these things. And when you did the 14 exercises, you know what? Universe showed you the way, not me. So let go, let God, and then you rise up. I give an example of Segaran. Segaran is someone who was working in a particular company, and he was having a tough time. And I know he was doing law of attraction. He was following all the things I teach him and whatever. He's having a tough time. He used to ask me, Mr. Kati, why, Mr. Kati? Why must I go through this, You understand or not? Now, 2 years later, he is a full-time unit trust consultant, and he's happy. He's got his own apartment. He's got his own car. He's doing very well in unit trust, and he sent a testimonial. Maybe some of you have seen it. I've shown it before. He's extremely happy. But at that point in time, he was telling, why is it that I want to do something, and this is giving me so much a problem. I had another friend. I cannot mention her name. Okay, and she had a very good friend with her. They were together, and they're best of friends lah. And then after she started doing law of attraction, and because this particular person had a goal to go MDRT, and she started to look at a goal and all, and then suddenly things started souring up with her friend, and she was so stressed out because she's aiming for a goal, and then she was having this issue with a friend, and finally it's a split up. But after splitting up, she thought that something was wrong, but she realized that actually the friend was the reason why she was not growing in a business. And after she split, the energy was gone, the negativity was gone. She just pop, she became an MDRT. And she said, my God, I didn't realize, because the friend is always in the house, the friend always drops by, the friend buys food for her. And she didn't realize that the friend was the reason why she was down. So when you do law of attraction, when you do Ho'oponopono, you really need to understand that you will be guided for sure, but you must trust and you must do. You must have, Deepak Chopra has got something called a law of detachment. Okay, Deepak Chopra, law of detachment. In law of detachment, he says, when you decide to set a goal and write your affirmation, then you let it go, detach yourself. Let God show you the way. Let God show you the way it will come, because it will come. Because you have to have the belief the universe is listening. You have to have the belief that God is listening. So it is very important for you. You cannot say, I want this much and I only want to do this way. You can't do that, because then it doesn't make sense to you. Because if you're already doing whatever you're doing, you're not succeeding, and now you want to do something else by writing your affirmation and doing a Ho'oponopono, obviously things must change. Some people must go. Some weight must be let go. And you must remember that. Very important. Talking about, I don't think Tina is also watching me. Tina is from India, and then 2 days ago, in fact, yesterday she texted me. She said, Mr. Kati, I'm doing Ho'oponopono, Mr. Kati, and I'm doing all this, but I'm so upset because my good friend has stopped talking to me, My really, really good friend has stopped talking to me, Mr. Kati. Yesterday, she texted me, and I said, wait, today is tip number 11. Tip number 11, I'll tell you, Tina, that let go, let God, because there's a reason for why this is happening. So sometimes you have to realize the universe knows what's best for you. I'm not saying that you're going to lose friends. I'm not saying all that. I'm just saying that you got to read. You got to read, and you got to continue. You got to believe the universe. The belief is very important. Okay. My personal life, I want to finish out with my personal life and tell you some examples. I had I'm a training consultant. I went to this particular multinational company. I had a big contract. I think it was 700,000 ringgit contract. And the training manager was a very nice person. I also know the director of the company. I did a presentation. But what happened was that the training manager was somehow or other was not keeping me posted on what was happening. And the contract was awarded to my company. But he was not he's the one who's supposed to inform me, because I did a presentation. The board of directors decided to give to Kathy, but he didn't want to. I don't know why he didn't want to. And by the time there was an expiry letter, I didn't take up because he didn't come to me. I didn't get the email. I didn't get a phone call. Nothing. He told the directors I cannot be reached. I never responded to my emails, and I lost 700,000 ringgit contract. I lost. But you see, this is the good thing, you know. I was upset because I'm a law of attraction practitioner. I said, what is this? You know, my God, you know. But 3 months later, I found out he was arrested because he actually gave the contract to somebody else and took 70,000 as a bribe. You see? So no, I wouldn't have given a bribe for sure, because I don't believe in that. I will never do anything like that. But what I'm saying is, see, there is a reason for everything. So even if I don't I don't give him a bribe, whatever, I taken up the contract, chances are, because he's a training man, he would have given me a lot of problems. He would have given me a lot of problems. But you see how the universe knows, okay, everything is protected, everything is given for you. So let go, let God, and then only you will rise up. Very important for you to go with the flow. Remember, downstream, follow downstream. So everything will follow. God will show you the way. You must flow downstream. I'll give you another example. When I was working in Bainagar, I think many of you know I was formerly working in Bainagar, and I'm a very hardworking person. I'm a very ambitious person. I was, you know, all out and whatever. And I didn't get promoted because they followed a seniority concept and whatever not. And I didn't get promoted. I was very annoyed with the whole thing. And I actually decided that I'm going to leave. And I was so upset that I didn't. And then when I went to see my boss at that time, and I told him I'm going to leave, and he said, do you know, Kathy, that, you know, we don't want you to leave. In any case, you know what, why don't we do this? Why don't you go overseas and do your master? So I went to UK. I went on a fully paid scholarship. My salary was ongoing. I was able to take my son and my daughter, my wife with me, and went to UK, did my MBA and came back. And I'm very happy about that. I had a chance to stay overseas for 1.5 years. Everything. And the reason is because I didn't get promoted. Are you following or not? You see, every time there's something happen, don't get all, oh my God, what is this, man? And many people give up. Many people let go. But you see, let go means you give up on law of attraction. I'm not saying don't give up on law of attraction. I'm saying let go the feeling of, oh, why is this happening to me? Because there's a reason for it. Simple examples even, you know, like one day I was driving, and then there was a motorbike that was passing me in a Parliament Road, you know, and passing me, and suddenly that guy was smoking and just threw his puntong rokola, you know, and then the thing hit my windscreen. So, you know, because there was sparks, you know, so suddenly I braked, you know, I slowed down because there was sparks all over, right? I break down, slow down. And I was very upset. I said, how can this guy do that? You know, oh my God, you know, I was very upset. Then as I'm slow down and passing by, I realized there was a speed trap and I escaped. It was an 80 miles an hour and I was not going fast. Probably I was going about maybe 95, maybe. It was not like over speeding or anything like that, you know, but it's at night and, you know, 80 is very slow line that time, right? But oh my God, I didn't get caught. There was no speed. So I didn't get in the speed trap because the guy threw the cigarette butt, you see. I want to finish with one last example. My wife and I wanted a house, a bungalow house, and we got a house in Kemensa. So my wife and I went and saw the house, beautiful house, fantastic, everything. I did Ho'oponopono, I did everything I did. And somehow or other, you know, the loan, the lawyer, this problem, the problem. And I was wondering, what is happening, you know? Why is the house not coming? I mean, come on, man. I'm a law of attraction and guru, you know, I teach me, what is. Then there was a landslide in Bukit Antara Bangsa, and the fault line also created cracks in this house that I was going to buy. And that house, the price dropped by 500,000 the day after the landslide. I said, oh my God, no wonder lah. So, tip number 11, I hope you learn a lesson today, that let go, let God, and then you'll rise up. So don't get all worked up. If you believe in law of attraction, if you believe in Ho'oponopono, believe whatever I'm teaching you, do everything, because you will succeed. You will become successful. Because the moment you connect with God through affirmation, vision board, visualization, Ho'oponopono, gratitude journal, doing a lot of good things like Pantang Lima Ringgit, when you do all these good things, you're connected to the universe, connected to God. I will tell you, God will hold your hand and bring you to the right path. But in the process, you need to let go some friends. You need to let go some of the things you do so that you can come up in life. So with that, thank you very much. I'll see you for tip number 12 tomorrow, 8 o'clock sharp. Thank you, guys. Be safe. Take care of yourself. Yeah, everyone. Bye-bye.